All right, good morning, everybody. We're here this morning to jumpstart your job search. I'm Rachel Veal. I'm not with Becky Wilding-Jones this morning. She's here in spirit, but elsewhere. And we are talking about your job search, whatever stage you're at. So you'll get lots out of this session if you are looking for work, if you think you should be looking for work, or you have been searching for jobs but you've got a little bit stuck. So do grab a pen. Afterwards, we will send out slides and we will send out recordings. If you said yes to our mailing list, thank you. We will send you our guide to flexible job sites, and we do update this regularly, and we'll send this out to our general mailing list as an update again soon. Because job sites come and job sites go, and there's always some interesting ones. But yes, if you said yes to that, then we'll send that one out later as well. And if you change your mind for any reason, you can always sign up later. We'd love to have you. We'd love to be able to talk to you on a regular basis about all things career. Right. Oops. So this is me and this is us. We are HR people, Becky and I, and we use our backgrounds in corporate world and human resources and learning development to take this to career development and career coaching and training. We help our clients identify and achieve their career and work-life balance goals. For most people, this is about finding a new job. There are confidence issues behind that, and we address all these things. We mainly do that through our Career Relaunch Programme, which is a career coaching and training programme, which works on a regular basis. We have coaching and training sessions for our clients, and we back this up with comprehensive online learning from clarity, working out what on earth to do with your career next, through to the practicalities of job search, interview, CVs, LinkedIn, and the rest of it. So that's a little bit about us. Now today, so we're talking about getting your job search underway or reviving your job search if you're in it at the moment. We'll be looking at some effective job search tools and techniques and how to make the best use of your time when job hunting, particularly so you don't fall down that internet black hole, and looking at an easy way to formulate a job search action plan. So we're getting super efficient with all of this. Now, it would be really good to know what you're up to at the moment. So do drop into chat where you are on your job search journey. Are you in the midst of it at the moment? Have things got a little bit stuck? What are you up to? Where are you up to with your job search? You can pop that into a chat. We'll pick that up as we go. Actually, I've got my little poll. I'm gonna launch my little poll there, and you can pop that into that. So on my in my poll there, we've got where you are on your job search journey. So you could be just started, need to get started, or should get started. It's an ongoing thing, and I popped in another option there. It feels like it's never going to end, because I know, and some of you will know, you can get into a bit of a rut with your job search. Okay, so for most people, it's an ongoing thing. For a few people, it's just started, or you need to get started. It's next on your list. Fabulous. Coming off career vagrants, considering a pivot. Oh, we love a career pivot. We love a career pivot. Okay. So when we think about job search, we think about it as active or passive. And active job search is when you are actively seeking out opportunities, and passive is where you're not letting your job search happen to you, but you're doing the standard things. So you're doing the internet ones and the rest of it. So what are you doing at the moment? Are you mostly in the passive zone? That's definitely where people start, or are you engaging in other sorts of activities? So on this one, it's a bit like the old Wheel of Fortune, but possibly less exciting and with no prizes. So, which of these things are passive search, do you think, or which of these things are in the active zone? If you can try out your reactions on this one. So, tell me about the top one. So, internet job search. If you were thinking are you thinking that's passive form of job search? You would click the yes button, the green button. So on my one, right, reaction zone comes out as a green tick there. Oops. No. And then the next one, and the next one, I can't see my reactions here. Right, I'm going to stop my share for a moment, just so I can come back and see you. I'm having a tech fail. Right. Yeah. So and then on the next one, so the next one is networking. How do you perceive that as a passive job search technique? Yes or no? Networking, do you perceive it as a passive? Absolutely. No, it's not. It's what we call an active technique, because you are going out of your way to attempt to create work, and which can be a little bit frightening, but really, really useful, particularly if you run out of opportunities or it's difficult to find stuff out there on the internet. Direct applications, would you say that this is a passive job search? Again, yeah, it's a no. Because it's an active. Direct applications, it's a different form of application technique when you're asking people for work and when there isn't actually a job available. But again, it can be really useful. It works for certain types of organizations. Better for SMEs than the big corporates, because the big corporates have their own recruitment processes, have retained agencies, or have internal or have application processes, and they don't take kindly to CVs and speculative letters just landing out of the blue. It doesn't fit with the process. But for SMEs, this can work really well as long as you do super application and you do your research up front, so that it just doesn't go into the ether. You want to make sure that you know where it's going. You want to know who is potentially going to read on it, so that you can follow up on it afterwards. So it's a useful technique, but it's one that has to be done carefully to be effective. And nobody likes doing direct applications. And so most of these ones in the active zone are uncomfortable. That's okay. Acknowledge, if that's you, acknowledge that it's something that you're uncomfortable, you're not comfortable with, and then think about doing it anyway. Because I don't know about you, but when I look at my career and life outside work things, when you take a little bit of calculated risk, I find it works well for me, and I'm sure some of you have found that can work well for you too. So see if you're uncomfortable with it, and see what you're going to do with that level of discomfort. So the other ones on my list were print job search. Now, you don't see an awful lot of this nowadays, but it now exists. So it's printed jobs, so it's jobs in magazines, jobs in newspapers, which still exist. It costs organisations a huge amount of money, so it's much less popular now, and also circulation of newspapers is at a record low. So it's less effective in some means. So is this a passive form of job application, a printed application? Rachel, yes, absolutely. So it's still worth looking out for, particularly if you're looking for high level opportunities, because those are ones that are now more frequently being advertised in print. But it's passive, you're waiting for it to happen, you're waiting for opportunities to fall in your lap. And then I have social media job search. Is this a passive opportunity, a passive job search technique? Social media job search, what do you reckon? Mixed in there, we've got some no's and some yeses. I perceive it as passive, and that is because it depends what you're doing. If you are using looking at a Twitter job feed, then the answer would be yes, it's passive, because you're looking at jobs that are already created and already out there. If you are joining a Facebook group of like-minded program managers, then and you're networking within that, then I'd say it's an active technique, because you're trying to create opportunities, you're trying to create work. So you're all right. You all win no prizes. Next on my list, recruitment agencies. Would you see this as a passive job search technique? Recruitment agencies, going and registering one, having the standard interview with a recruitment agency. Yes, I would be in agreement with you. It's a passive job search technique. Again, you're going out and looking for work which already exists, jobs which have already been created. And we'll talk a little bit about recruitment agencies in a moment. Headhunters, same sort of game. So passive job search techniques. Do you need both? It very much depends what sort of industry you are in or aiming towards if you're pivoting your career. It opens up the pool of opportunities to do some active job search techniques alongside the passive. The passive, what we should say is that you should automate it and structure it and get it working for you in that sense. If the job industry is open to it, it's great to do some active job search as well. It's just about widening the pool of opportunities, gets you into work faster, finds the quality work that suits you if you can create the work, rather than looking for work that has been created to fit you. We always say it all starts with you. It's the same with the clarity work too. Right, I'm going to go back to my sharing screens. Okay. So we have talked in previous sessions about the various job boards and job sites that you can use, and our really useful guide to flexible job sites, as some of you will know, works in these different categories. So we talk about some of the general job boards, we talk about some specialist ones, and we also introduce some job matching sites and job sharing sites, which are always really interesting options as well. So your passive internet search is probably going to be split into these sorts of areas. So general ones, these are the top 5 UK job sites, not because they're necessarily brilliant, but in terms of popularity. Indeed, Total Jobs, Reed, LinkedIn Jobs, and Snap Hunt. They've all got good functionality. We looked at this a bit in a previous session as well, that you can now search flexibly. You can search not just on the old part-time, but you can search on hybrid. I love the fact that working in an office is now called on-site. You're working on-site. So you can search for on-site, you can search for hybrid, you can search obviously for part-time, and now for different sorts of hours as well. You can search for remote work. They all have good functions for that. They all have good options for saving work, for getting the alerts to your email inbox. So they're all okay. They're not flexible job sites, but they have some ability to search for flexible work. So obviously you'll be looking at the general ones. Which one will you look at? Well, I bet you anything that you have a favourite which you have had for absolutely years. Maybe at the start of your job search post-education, you had a favourite, and if it still exists, I bet it will still be up there. Now, a few have fallen by the wayside or are less popular, but we get attached to certain ones. So I just say step out of that. If you can, have a look at something different, particularly if your job search is getting into a little bit of a rut. If you haven't heard of Snap Hunt, go and have a look. We suggest some slightly less known ones like Otter, which works with tech companies, startups, Work 180, which vets the companies that it deals with for inclusivity, including flexibility. So try something new within your hunt as well as the old favorites. The specialist job boards, there are loads of these springing up, so lots of different niches, and we've just brought a few there. So there's some marketing ones, charity jobs, city jobs, and we've got F1 recruitment is another marketing one. Fraser Jones for HR jobs. There are for big niches, obviously there are more specialist job boards, but again, if it's been a little while, it's worth seeing what's out there for you. And because again, it's about widening the pool of opportunities and getting work that's more appropriate for you. Some of these also do, like the charity jobs one, also have volunteering opportunities. So if you're thinking about a career pivot, one type of retraining that you might consider is actually working as a volunteer for a little while in your chosen specialism. So specialist job boards is another string to your bow. Job matching sites and job sharing sites. So Daisy Chain is a job matching site where you go and put your details in, and the idea is that employers can find you and you could match your details to a role. Job sharing sites like RoleShare, you create a profile and other people create profiles. The profiles are matched, and then you can get in contact with somebody with whom potentially you might be able to do a job share, because that was always the tricky bit about job shares. It seems a fantastic idea, but where you're going to find your job share partner? And now internet says you can find them online. So there's RoleShare, there's also Duo.me as a potential job sharing sites. So a good one to investigate. This means you'll know if you've been job hunting that it is still hard to find part-time work, that you can find lots of full-time. You will even possibly be able to find full-time remote. But can you find part-time? Your possibilities are significantly reduced if you're looking for part-time. So what job sharing opportunities give you is the prospect of being able to apply for full-time roles with a job share partner, so that you can figure it out, and then you can present to an employer how it's going to work between you and tell them all the positives about it. There is an extra cost to an employer about employing two people in terms of tax and NI, but they get two fabulous minds instead of one. And so job shares are increasingly being seen also at high level roles now, which is a real positive. So it is really worth considering. We're big fans of job sharing. I did say we'd have a word about recruitment agencies and how to work with these. So with recruitment agencies, rule is to remember that they do not work for you. They work for the client. The agency's number one priority is the client. Having said that, it's still a really good idea, depending on your industry area, to work with a few good recruitment agencies. Again, it's about widening this pool of opportunities. And it's important to build relationships with those 2 to 3 agencies. What does that mean? Well, it means that you check in with them regularly. you find an excuse, isn't it, if necessary. You can, rather than just popping up and saying, hello, it's me again, you can always have a little hook with that. You can tell them about jobs that you've seen, or that people who've got certain sorts of opportunities. It's giving them more information about the sort of thing that you're looking for. Always remembering the thing about that they do not work for you. Again, it's passive search. It is about jobs that have already been created and discussed. There is an issue here with career pivots, that agencies are sent out by the clients to find a square peg that fits in a square hole, rather than a square peg that would really like to try out being a triangle for a bit. I'm not sure, I'm going to end that analogy now because I'm not sure it's going to keep working, but you know what I mean. They want particular sorts of people who've got particular sorts of experience, and you'll know that if you've ever worked with a recruitment agency and said that you're thinking about a bit of a pivot, you want to try something new, they say, yes, we get that completely, we understand. And then a few days later, you get a call saying, yeah, you said you wanted to try something new, but we've got this job which is exactly the same as what you were doing before, and I just wanted to run it by you. It happens every time. So yeah, they're square peg, square hole type people, but there are some great ones out there, and you can really nurture those relationships. A bit like the job search sites, we tend to stick with an agency that we really like, or with a recruiter that we really like, and perhaps follow them as they change and go to different agencies, set up their own. A good recruiter is worth their weight in gold. So a passive technique to do and do well. Social media. Are you making the most of social media in terms of your job search plan? LinkedIn, as you know, is so massive, but it's very easy to neglect it, particularly if you're on a career break. But more than 30 million companies have a LinkedIn profile now. 90% of recruiters regularly use LinkedIn. That stat is going up and up and up. All recruiters use LinkedIn. So you have to be there for starts. Your profile has to be up to date. You need a photo on there. It needs to have all the basics. It doesn't have to be brilliant. It doesn't have to be singing or dancing. You don't have to use the new video feature, but you need to be there, and it needs to be okay. It needs to be up to date. So whilst you're there, you can take advantage of LinkedIn jobs, which is very good. You could take advantage of the interest groups. And of course, you can take advantage of the networking opportunities, which is one strand of active job search. Facebook, what's that got? Well, lots of groups with job opportunities of varying qualities. There are quite a lot of MLMs out there, which I say, please avoid, don't touch with a barge pole. They make somebody rich, but it won't be you. There are Facebook interest groups with networking opportunities, but still the more serious side, it still resides on LinkedIn. There are more opportunities, I think, within social media on LinkedIn. Twitter is worth a look if you're on there. There are Twitter jobs feeds for different sectors, so it might be worth, and recruiters are on there. So again, it's worth taking a look, but don't get sucked into the internet black hole with all of this, because it takes time. It's probably best to pick one and go deep, rather than scatter your time and attention all over the place. So this is the point where I say, well, what are you going to do then? How are you going to take action on this? And that might be getting started with something new, or it might be adding something new to your job search techniques. So perhaps for you, could that be 3 job sites to get you started and give you a focus? Or if you're already working on it, could it be a new one? Is there something that I've talked about today you said, oh, I haven't heard of that, or I haven't looked there, or I haven't looked at that one in years? So a new one to get you started. Do feel to drop into chat what you might like to try. Recruitment agencies, again, if you're getting started, which 3 recruitment agencies will you go out, find, contact, that you're going to work with in the long term? If you're already out there, already job searching, is there a new one that you would like to try? Or do you need to go and do some research and find a new one if the ones you're registered with are doing absolutely nothing for you? 3 social media groups to keep an eye on, maybe some interest groups within LinkedIn or Facebook, wherever you are. Which ones could you be? So what are you going to do that's different? What are you going to do to make a change? So let's say that you commit to something, that would be brilliant. Keep thinking about developing this. So say ADD, assess, delete, develop. Assess the results. So on a weekly basis, what's working for you? Which recruitment agencies are really good? Which job sites are delivering stuff? And on the flip side of that, which job sites are filling your inbox with absolute rubbish? And you're going, how did that come from my search terms? Maybe you need to check on your search terms. Maybe you need to just delete that job site. Or maybe it's coming up with really low salaries below what you want. Again, you know, we talk endlessly about setting out your stall in the beginning, working out what you want, setting your line in the sand, which you will not cross. So if you've worked out your salary and what you want and what you need, and job sites are delivering the wrong things, then delete, delete, delete. Develop your effective job search strategy as you go. So assess, delete, develop. Formulating a job search action plan. So really important to assess what you're doing, make changes, and then automate. Make sure that your passive one is working as effectively as possible as you go. Think about combating obstacles. So what's stopping you from moving forward with your job search? Perhaps you are the sort of person who's really drawn in by shiny things and you're searching for too much stuff, and therefore you're getting drawn in the black hole. You know, you hop from site to site to site. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. And your time is just sucked away. It may be that you're taking the scattergun approach to job search, that you actually haven't got clear on your career. And we do say you've got to get clear on your career first. If you take the scattergun approach, you will spend hours and hours and hours on the internet, because you could do that and you could do this, and the thing that you want isn't really there, but that's part-time, and maybe you could do that. It's not a quality approach to job search. So get clear on your career first, find that clarity and focus about what you want to do, and then go out and find it or create it. So sometimes the sort of feeling of overwhelm when it's been a little while, or the job search has got a bit tough, can stop you from getting started. So planning and preparation can move you forward here. Your passive job search should be running in the background. So ensure you get started correctly. If you're up and running, ensure you edit your job search correctly. You might want to think about setting up a new email address just for job boards, just for job sites, so that you don't lose track of the real people, real humans coming in. If you're female, then you may well have an old and ancient email address, probably under another surname that you use for shopping. People trying to sell you stuff. Use that one for your job search, or set up a new one temporarily, so they can you don't mind having all this stuff coming in and into your email. Set up your automated daily searches, edit them. Manage your alerts. So you can think about job search in terms of different qualities of time. So you might spend 10 minutes a day checking your job alerts in your inbox and moving job possibilities into one place, like a spreadsheet or a notebook. We work with a certain template with our clients on the career relaunch program, because otherwise you can't hold it all in your head, and you'll forget stuff and you miss stuff, and you don't want to miss deadlines. Research time. You're going to need longer chunks of quality time for researching possibilities. this is when you go back to your spreadsheet, you go back to your notebook and you look through the details, you go to the company website, check out the competencies, check out what's going on. Is it a good place to work? Is it a flex company? Is it worth applying there? So you need a bit longer chunks of time for doing this. Application time, that's longer chunks of time still to actually apply for the roles. To do a good tailored application takes time. I would say avoid easy apply, you know, that little button that pops up on Indeed or LinkedIn. It discourages you from doing a good job application. You want to do fewer job applications, but the ones you do, you want to do really good ones. The more you do it, the faster you'll get at it. Tailoring your CV, tailoring a cover letter, you'll get faster at it, you'll get better at it. It's annoying the first time, still a bit annoying the second time, and then, you know, as I say, it's a technique, but you do need longer chunks of time to actually apply for the roles. So managing alerts time, research time, application time, and bringing it all together in some way. You can diarise this, use your online diary, use a physical diary, but think about, when do I have a sort of downtime type time? Is, you know, when you're waiting for people, when you might be on your phone. Can you use that imperfect time to do a little bit of the lower impact job search stuff? When you need a bit more quality time, when would that fit into your diary? Is there a bit of time first thing in the morning? Is there a bit of time later in the evening? If you've got kids, is there a time when they finally go to bed? Possibly not. Application time is a really tough one. If you've got caring responsibilities, if you've got family responsibilities, if you've got other responsibilities and stuff going on, the application time is when you need quiet time for yourself to be able to think through, how can you do that? When can you do that? So think about diarising it, and think about it in different sorts of time, because it's not all the same in terms of your job search. Now, we know that your situation is unique, and we would love to have a chat with you about what's going on with your career project, what's going well with your job search, what's stopping you with your job search. We offer a 20-minute career discovery session. We talk about where you are now, where you'd like to be in 6 to 12 months, what campaign or process will get you there. Think about some quick wins or things which we think you might like to be focusing on as we go. What's the easiest way to do that? Well, that's to jump into onto our website, coaching partner site, and I'll try and share that one in a moment, where you can set up an appointment direct to our diary. I'll share that one just a second. You can book a call, go straight into the diary, and then you've got various time options, and then we just ask a few questions, a few intake questions, to know a little bit about you before we chat. So what are you doing at the moment? Or if you've had a career break, what was your previous role? What would you like to do? What would you like to do next? Can we stay in touch with you? Because we like to do that. And then we will have a Zoom call and try to work some things out for you. It's good to talk, and we would love to do that with you if you would like to join us at some time this week or next week. We'll be closed for half term, but we will open the diaries again afterwards. It's Naseem. Is Forever Living aloe vera products an MLM? Yes, it is. Yeah, if you do a little bit more research on that one, it is. And you will always find one or two people who wax lyrical about how brilliant an MLM has been, multi-level marketing product has been for them. But they are the exceptions to the rule. Most people, whether they're selling aloe vera, poorly named cosmetics, or what the other sort of the more respectable end, the books kind of end, you can see they're not generating a huge amount of income, tend to be working really hard to try and make it work. But yeah, the people who make money out of this are the people who own these businesses outright. Franchises is a different cup of tea, but you should do your research because a lot of them are really expensive to get into, and you have to look very carefully into what they offer you in terms of business support and what cut they're taking. So just caution. I have to say, exercise caution with what you do there. Right, I'll just try and pop back to my slides. Okay, so just wanted to sum up. Our goal today was really to either to help you get your job search underway or give it a bit of a boost if it's ongoing. And we've talked about our take on this, which is about active and passive job search, and that how, if possible, you want to combine the two to widen your pool of possibilities. That's all it's about in job search. It's about the pool of possibilities that are open to you. So we've talked a little bit about effective job search tools and techniques in terms of what you would expect your classic internet job search and what you might be focusing on there, where you might be making some changes and updating this to make sure it's working, how you work with another passive option, that's recruitment agencies, that they can be helpful to you, but you have to be always thinking in the back of your mind that they work for the clients and they're not so brilliant for career pivots, career changes. Thinking about social media and how you can best harness that into what's predominantly your passive search, but again can have aspects of networking within there, and how to make the best of your time when you're doing this so that you don't get sucked into the internet black hole of job search. You don't feel that you've been working really hard at your job search for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, but really you haven't come up with solid possibilities where you can go, yeah, I'm going to do that, I can apply for that. So how to make the best of your time. We were thinking about combating obstacles, that it all starts with clarity. You've got to get clear on your career first, otherwise shiny things everywhere. Having a disjointed job search is not going to take you forward fast enough. So get clear on your career first, work out what you want to do, and then figure out what's out there, or whether you need to actually create opportunities so that you can do that. Think about your non-negotiables also in terms of what you want in terms of salary, what you want in terms of flexible hours, what you want in terms of work type. And we have lots of conversations with clients about meaningful work, because most people in a midlife, mid-career stage, particularly women, we're no longer willing to just trade time for hours. We want something more. And meaningful work can mean such a range of stuff. It may mean, I think from all these conversations I've had over time, I think it is a sense of connection to what you do. It is not that we're all desperate to run out and join a charity. Our clients aren't all working for Médecins Sans Frontières, but in their own way, they want to make a difference and be what the world needs in some way. As I said, it at a basic level, I think it's a sense of connection and understanding and belief in what you do. And there may be more to that, and there may be things that tie in with the way that you want to work, so sort of working with people. It may be that you want to help people in some way, but meaningful work, what does that, is it a thing for you? And if so, what does it mean to you? What is meaningful work? A big conversation there, one for when we could take further another day. Automation, super important with your passive job search techniques. Get them all automated and edit your automations to make sure that they're working. Use your time appropriately, and use your time appropriately, diarising chunks of time so that you do the low-level activity, job search activities, fitting them in where you can, and then you have silo one person quiet time, a lock on your door or something, if you have kids running around, and let people know if you have other responsibilities that this is the time that you just need some quiet, you need to get some stuff done. So diarising and using your job search time appropriately. So that is us in summary. And I'm going to stop my share there. And I will open up, I'll stop recording and then open up and stick around for a little bit. If anybody has any questions, very happy to answer them.